This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seized, yeah. A day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working its way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning. I got a frog in my voice, so sorry. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. And I showed up a little late, and I'm like, what is this? Like when you don't show up on time, they change things around, and you don't know what's going on. So, anyways, welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We are really glad to see you here. Love the energy in the house, filling up the house. So, beautiful people. If you're visiting for the first time, we want to welcome you. We have potluck after service with dining with the dudes, and it's truly a potluck. Everybody kind of brought whatever they wanted versus John telling us what we had to bring. So, anyways, so it'll be a good lunch for all. And so sticking with our theme this year is being remarkable. And so my friend John, are you in here? Yeah, there he is. Come on up, John. John has another remarkable story. So we are looking for remarkable stories that you've experienced or you know of. So we want to share those remarkable events. But he's got a remarkable story for us.
Okay. I got another remarkable story. It's catchy. I got a picture here that we're going to show in just a second, hopefully. Okay. Anyway, this is a story about one man's perseverance to build a road for his villagers. See that road there? It's built by one man, by himself. Would you believe me? I'll just read what it has here. Would you believe it was, believe me when I told you it was built by one man with only his hammer and a chisel? In a remote town in the northeastern part of India, villagers had to walk a treacherous 50 kilometers around the mountain for supplies and medical treatment. One day, a villager named Dasarath Manji made it his mission to carve a path through the mountain. That's him right there. Starting in 1960, he slowly started chopping away, day by day, for 22 years. Local villagers mocked him for having such an ambitious dream, but he blocked out the noise and finally finished the path in the 1980s. He earned himself the nickname of Mountain Man. His years of perseverance created a path. So it's another story about somebody that wants to do something out of his heart for his villagers. And it's a remarkable story, one of those remarkable stories you probably never heard about. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. So it's all about being remarkable this year. So if you can share a personal story would be great as well. Just let me know before service, and we'll bring you up here. All right, so one quick announcement is, so I want to remind everybody that April the 1st is a Saturday. We're doing our community retreat, all-day retreat, and it'll be a beautiful, beautiful experience. We're we're going to have a kind of a potluck. If you want to bring food to share, you can bring food to share. Or if you want to bring your own meal, and because I know some people have strict diets, you can just bring your own meal. But we're going to sit and have lunch together as well when we have the retreat. So hopefully, are we going to have a sign up or just whoever shows up?
I'll put a sign up out, but
Okay.
anybody can show up at the last.
Yeah. Just the sign up would be helpful so we know how many people are coming. And again, it'll be a beautiful experience and a way for our community to grow together. All right, so that is our announcements, our remarkable story. So let's say our vision statement together. We are a loving, joy-filled community, honoring and bringing past to God as we learn and live the science of mind principles. So it is. So just sit back, open up your hearts and minds for the Bradford's beautiful music and Reverend Karen's beautiful message. Thank you.
So just take a deep breath as we go within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
And in this quiet place, this sacred space, there is but one essence. And I call this essence God. And God is love and joy and beauty and light, wisdom, infinite intelligence, health, prosperity, abundance. And this essence permeates all there is, all there ever has been, and all there ever will be. And I am an individualization of this essence. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for all of us, each of us, here, online, in fact, for the whole planet. We are all the essence of love, beauty, light, joy, happiness, peace, prosperity. And I say a word of blessing today for Reverend Karen and her wonderful words that always, always teaches us and gives us wisdom that we take into our hearts and carry forth and teach others and show others. And I say a word of blessings for the Bradfords and their wonderful music, which always grounds us, brings us joy, and binds us together. And I just know this service is absolutely the way it is supposed to be. And knowing this, I just release this into the law, knowing it is already done. And together we say, okay, we have a new microphone. Let's see how this works. I'm reading from New Design for Living, Ernest Holmes. And it's The Power of Love, page 157, if anybody wants to know. It would seem to be a fundamental fact that love is the basic reality of life. This would in turn give rise to a firm conviction that God is love. God, creative intelligence, depends upon his creation for expression, the expression depending on God for its existence. God could never stop creating or loving. Neither can the creation cease loving or expressing God without limiting its experience of the source of its existence, in which case it would gradually cease to be. In the mind of man, we find only created thing which can consciously deprive itself of accepting God's love. And when this is done, the results are disastrous. Note we said deprive. God's love for man is always there, whether man cares to recognize it or not. Let us think about that one for a hot minute. And so it is.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, just a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. Something unpredictable, in the end is right. I hope you have the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life.
Oh, that was so lovely. Thank you, Bradfords. That was so good. Thank you. You made me a little verklempt again. It's not doesn't help the service when that happens. I'm just gonna preface that. Well, good morning. Nice to see you. So I have a talk planned for you. We are going to have some fun, and I'm going to be a little naughty. Are there any children in the audience? Oh, yeah, a bunch of hands went up. The title of my message, in case you didn't read, if you don't read the newsletter, the title of my message this morning is Grow, Damn It. Right? Do you like this? So you don't know this, but this has been sitting on our altar for months. Right there. Yeah. I didn't buy it for you. I bought it for me. I took an adventure probably when I shouldn't have. It was a time in my life where things were changing a lot last year, about a year ago, a little more than a year ago actually. And Hugh and I had a vacation planned, and then he was unable to go. And I decided I would go alone, and it turned out that wasn't a really smart idea for me, so I was pretty unhappy. Do you ever notice sometimes we make decisions that then don't feel like they're good decisions afterwards? It's so important to acknowledge all of that and just ride the waves of life and the experiences that all of it mixed together then. You know, it enhances our lives in other ways, but I didn't think it was going to enhance my life at all. That I was pretty uncomfortable. So one of the things I never do when I'm on the central coast of California is going to town and visit the little gift stores. And so we were in the West Village of Cambria, and we went in this cute little gift store for tourists. It was a tourist store, and I always feel like, I'm better than a tourist. You know, I own this piece of the coast. I've been coming here for so many years. It's mine. And I saw this on a wall, and there were a bunch of different sayings, and they were for your gardens. And I looked at that, and all I knew was that it felt to me as though something in the universe, and for me that would be God, was sort of forcing me through something that I did not want to go through. And so I saw that, and it said, grow, damn it. And I went, okay, maybe not right now. And I bought it, and I brought it back, and I intended to hang it in my office, and I have not been able to do that. But primarily, I didn't do it because I wanted to do a talk title named Grow, Damn It, so I could cuss a lot on the pulpit. Sometimes the rebel in me wants to win, you know? Right. Thank you. That was a hee-haw, in case you couldn't hear that at home. That was a good hee-haw from our resident hee-hawer. It's a refrain, did you say?
I held back.
He held it back. In other words, if he'd have done what he wanted, you'd have heard it at home. I suggest you do what you want because, damn it. Yeah. There you go. I feel much better now. I'll bet you heard that at home. So I am here today, and I love that our theme is remarkable people. And, Reverend Clyde, I love that idea. Just invite anybody who has a great story to come up and share a great story about a remarkable human being. And I realized that in that place of knowing truth, when you're being remarkable, when you're showing up the way God created you, there is an element of knowing that growth is absolutely certain. There's no getting around it. That time passes and we heal and we get over, grieving, even grief. Well, it doesn't go away. I don't know. I'm still in a year plus now. I expect I will always have that tenderness in my heart, and I do not want to ever diminish that. But meanwhile, you heal. And you're able to come to work again, and you're able to do some things in your life that you start laughing again when you didn't know that you could laugh, and everything begins to change. So change is so apparent in the spring, isn't it? Isn't it? Aren't you glad we didn't change our clocks back here in Arizona last night? Yes, we loved living here for that reason, one of the many. And we are on the edge of springtime, and I found this quote. Spring is so much about planting and growing and things sprouting up and the colors changing, and almost doesn't matter where you live. And I found this quote by a Canadian poet. You may recognize her name. She's done some remarkable things. Her name is Margaret Atwood. Yes. Yes. Some people really know her. And she said this. This is such a beautiful quote to begin this message. In the spring, at the end of the day, you should smell like dirt. Isn't that fun? Isn't it? Oh, see, we got gardeners here. Oh, I just love that one. And I realize that I love it for a lot of reasons. It's funny and quirky, but I do love the smell. I do love to plant. You know, I do love to get dirt under my fingernails in the springtime. And actually, we can plant in the autumn here. I especially love that about here. And the season of planting is about putting seeds in the dark or putting little seedlings with roots into your soil, and about knowing that that seed has an intelligence in it that knows how to break out of its husk and then grow up towards the light and break through the earth. It's an amazing process. I never get tired of thinking about it. And we begin a journey of growth. If you look at just planting things in your garden, it's beginning a journey of growth. You know, I think I shared it 2 or 3 weeks ago that I had these sweet pea flower seeds. I bought packets of flower seeds at, I don't know, one of the garden centers. And but then I never got around to planting them. And they got more than a couple years old. And I kept moving them around thinking, I'll get them out there. I'll get them in the ground. And I never did. So I was going to throw them away. I was in one of those cleaning spurts at home. It's like, get rid of these. Quit shuffling them around. And as I went to throw them away, I thought, well, what difference would it make if you threw them in the trash or you put the seeds in a pot sitting on your patio full of soil, So I took them, I ripped them open, and I kind of sprinkled them, and I took my finger and pushed them down, and I put some water on them, and then I forgot about them. But it rained, and then the sun shined, and then it rained again. And do you know what? Those seedlings are, they're actually starting, I'm gonna have to stake them pretty soon. And I am confident that they may actually bloom like they were intended to, even though I neglected them for a while. So we know that if you don't put the seed in the ground, if you're hanging on to it in a miserly way, you're saving it for something, it's eventually gonna it'll rot. It'll lose the potential for growth. And so we don't want to be miserly as we move through life. We know that a seed, when planted, will produce another plant that will then produce more seeds for future plantings. And it's the beautiful rhythm of life. So when I thought about the sweet peas, I thought, if I look at grow damn it, and the way I didn't like feeling forced into growth, such as, we all have to endure those things, I began to ask the big questions like, who or what demands our growth? Think about it. I'm always saying in here, our God, the way we image what God is, the way we imagine what is that divine intelligence that we call the first cause, that we call the absolute, it cannot be an entity that resembles us. It has to be greater than that. And so they say that, we were created in the image and likeness of God. And then I always like to add, and then we return the favor and we created in our mind an image of God that looks like us. So who or what demands our growth would be really questioning what is that intelligence that's absolutely innate in all of life. Is there a principle in the universe that stands over us and demands, grow? Damn it. Is there a power in the universe that lords over us? See, in New Thought teachings, when we speak about the Lord, or when we're reading something rather religious where there's a reference to the Lord, we always understand that to be what we call the law. It's the way the law works. It's the way the law, the universal spiritual law of creation, has that intelligence that just always responds to whatever we do. I put my sweet peas in a pot in the backyard, voila. I forget about them, and it doesn't even matter. There's something so brilliant in every tiny seed that makes it grow. Now, our teaching, the science of mind, is a educational system. It's a spiritual philosophy that's based and organized around this whole idea of education. It's about growth, but in a very purposeful, intentional way, that we're conscious of it. We make choices, and then we see how things show up in our life from the work we've done. And I would say that the ministers that I know in centers for spiritual living, the ordained ministers, are committed to teaching spiritual principle, because we stand on this idea that we are here to transform lives. And we know that if we can convince you to let your spiritual magnificence shine, then we are also helping to shift and upgrade the consciousness of all of humanity. We do it one soul at a time, one mind at a time. Some days we do it one thought at a time. But we have this firm commitment. We believe in this teaching. So, if I'm up here or I'm teaching a class, I'm not trying to force you. It's just really hard to convey, because I get pretty forceful in my passion for the teaching, right? And so I want to say that I'm not trying to force you, and no minister should. I would hope that no minister would be trying to push you. But how you use what we teach is up to you. And that's at the core of everything Ernest Holmes ever wrote, the founder of this teaching. It's like there's something in life that corresponds to your willingness to open up to it, to try it, to practice it, and to basically use it. So I don't stand over you, and I try not to stand over you and go, grow, damn it. Sometimes I want to, but I have other tactics. See, everybody that's taking classes with me is snickering right now. The thing is that we know growth is going to happen. You will grow. I can do nothing to prevent you from growing. Only you can intervene. And I love this idea that the truth always grows us. And I wrote in the newsletter this week, when I was talking about what the talk was going to be about, I quoted Yeats, the poet Yeats, who said this amazing thing that really aligns to our teaching. Education is not the filling of a pail, but it is the lighting of a fire. Right? We're not checking something off our list. We're not filling up. We're not trying to take in enough knowledge to get wise. You don't get wise that way. It's through our experience. But if I can do anything to inspire you, even if it's only to live my best life publicly where you can see it, warts and all, even if I just do that, then you have an opportunity to choose what you will do with watching my growth publicly. So what's most meaningful that I wish I could give you for free, or even teach you, I can't teach you. There is no, the growth that you will do in your own life is not about me teaching you to do a good 5-step treatment, to pray a good, strong, affirmative prayer. That's a tool. That's a tool, and the more you practice that and the more you think it might be useful to you, it's up to you to use it. It's not about any method. It's not about me explaining the creative process to you, the teaching symbol that we have on the wall over there. It's not about any amount of, I like to talk about that stuff. If you take a class with me, you'll see that I actually think I'm a bit of an authority on most of those things. I don't think that's bad. So it's not bad. There's some things that that's where you come, right? You pay for those classes. So my greatest joy is spreading the inspiration, right? I can't teach you that, but I can hope that it'll be like lighting a spark of something inside of you that makes you want more. So wise mentors and teachers and spiritual leaders, we all understand, psychologists, behaviorists, everybody understands that growth is natural, but it's not necessarily easy. And sometimes we make it harder than it needs to be, right? So sometimes growth is messy. Sometimes it's scary. Often it's scary. And sometimes it's actually painful. And because of that, it's not uncommon that you make a decision that you're going to push yourself through some edge of growth in your own life, and then you get right up there at the edge, and you change your mind, and you retreat, and you turn around, and you back away, so that you don't have to do whatever that feels like it's looming right there in front of you. It's like, I always think of it, it's like when I'm at the beach on a tall enough cliff, I don't want to go to the edge. I want to know what it looks like, but man, I don't want to take myself out there if it should crumble away. It's like, oh, it's so scary. And that's what growth is like. But over time, we recognize that things hurt for a while or things frighten us for a while. And eventually, we will grow the courage or the strength or the wisdom that we need to make it so that edge that we can't see is more visible to us. And we do that a step at a time. We do that. Some of us take our time, and some of us leap. What's that great saying? You leap. No, the opposite of that. The ones where it just says, if you, they always use that is it Indiana Jones movie where he's walking the bridge will not appear till you put your first foot over the open air. It's like that, whatever that takes. So the growing edge is something that we talk about. One of my early experiences that came to my mind right away was that my first computer. So we were in we had been living in Southeast Asia, and I came home about a month before my husband, and I buy our first computer. Now, think of your first computer. Right? It had these cute little discs because we weren't really internet savvy yet. It wasn't all available like it is now. And you'd take those little plastic discs and it would have recipes. I had one for recipes, and I had one that was kind of an encyclopedia. And so you just collect, or games, And so I'm learning to use the computer. Do you remember going to this, for most of us, probably Mark Reed would not relate to this at all because he's very comfortable with technology. But I mean, my dreaded fear, you go into the store to buy your first computer and they go, what do you plan to do with it? I don't know. I have no idea. So I bought our first computer, and I did it alone without Hugh, and I was kind of excited about it. And it's a big change in your life. But remember, I was on a spiritual pilgrimage while he was working. So I'm like calm and relaxed. My life has been carefree for a very long time. And now suddenly there's this computer in the living room, on a table in the living room, a makeshift desk, and it would not leave me alone. And it kept it wooed me, try and do something new. And I went to war with the damn computer. Oh, it's a damn day. Oh, how cute. I went to war, and one night on the telephone, I said to my husband, I'm done. I am done with the computer. On Thursday night, I'm taking it to the curb so the trash man will get it out of my life. And my husband said, honey, please don't do that. And so I didn't. I stayed away from it for a while. But we kept it, and then, of course, that led to the next computer, and pretty soon we're all more computer savvy than we ever thought we would be, and that's for sure. But I could have turned around. I could have got rid of the computer and just been one of those many, many people that avoided it for as long as possible, and then probably been forced into it at some job which would have made it like 100 times more crazy than it was. So, sometimes sometimes feeling pushed or forced, like grow, damn it. Sometimes that's more painful than just surrendering and allowing life to sort of pull you. And there's a way that push and pull changes when we change our mind. I had my own personal experience with an edge of growth. My most profound experience as an edge of growth happened around 2001 or 2002, and it was connected to the TV reality show Survivor. Don't even talk bad about it. I'm still a fan. I still watch every episode, but I became obsessed. Now, we didn't watch it the first season or two. We caught up with it later when people started talking about it, and we wanted to know what was on that show. So we started watching it, And I got completely hooked, and I got obsessed so much that I wanted to be on that show. I did. I wanted to be on that show, and it was not a laughing matter. It would make me cry. I wanted it so much. And one day, Hugh and I were driving home from the beach, and we had been quiet for a long time. And all the time, it was dreamy. I just kept imagining some exotic. I don't know why it was exotic. But, you know, you're on an island and you're with all these people and the challenges. It would stretch you so much to be with a bunch of strangers and you don't have food, you don't have water, you don't even have a way to go to the bathroom that's normal. And you have to make fire. And to make it worse, you're competing against each other. At first, it's a nice little warm, fuzzy team, right? You're all working together. Then it gets down to the wire and you're all competing for $1 million for just you. What would happen? I could not get over my fascination with what an amazing sociological experiment it truly was and is. And so, of course, the show has changed through the years, but I did what any obsessed fan of the show should do, and that is I submitted my own audition tape. Did you know that? I did. I'll never show it to you. It's very embarrassing. No, but I found it in my personal VHS library because here's what happened. I got excited about the show. My husband didn't understand. All my friends, everybody that knew me went, why would you want, and I would tell them just what I told you, but nobody believed me, I guess. I really needed to be on that show because I wanted that growth experience. To me, it was an opportunity that would be so life-changing. Everybody that had ever been on the show said so, and I just ached for that experience. So I tell Hugh I want to do it. And then he goes, whatever. And then I I write a script. I bring in the family to be the film crew and the edit it, and we did all these different scenarios, and then I did the final edit in my office, wrote a cover letter, wrapped it all up in a package, took it to the post office, knowing this is a done deal. I knew they would call me to be on that show because I felt it in me. There was nothing that could deny that truth. And then we waited. They never called. But I didn't give up hope because they always said they keep those tapes for more than a couple seasons just in case, at the time that I submitted it, there were more than 50,000 tapes submitted at that time. So how do you look at 50,000 tapes, right? And they're VHS, come on. So recently, I found that tape in my VHS. I guess I shouldn't admit I still have a VHS library. But I do have a TV that you can play it on. It's not very good, and there's a 50-50 chance it won't spit the tape out when you're done. But I put that tape in there only 2 or 3 months ago. I had not seen it in years. It's actually even more embarrassing than it used to be. There was singing. I was singing Karen Drucker. This might be why I have such an opinion about Karen Drucker. The gifts of the goddess, and oh my God. So, what happened was, in that same time period, I became a licensed practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living. And something shifted in me, and I began to feel this strong commitment at my church, and I started showing up different than I had ever shown up before. And I just kept pursuing what was in front of me one step at a time until one day it dawned upon me of itself that it wasn't that I wanted to be on Survivor ever. It was that I was having a deeper call. It was the beginning of a much bigger call. It was a call that wasn't about pushing myself through my edge of growth. I mean, it was, but it wasn't what I thought it was. It was about tapping into your God-given gifts and using them, and what will you do with them? And I had the most incredible call to ministry. That tape is more than 20 years old. When I watched the tape, there was something really interesting that I kept saying, because you're trying to sell yourself, right? I kept going, I am a woman with freakish stamina. Well, you know it's true. I have freakish stamina. I even said this. I have freakish stamina, so much so that I gave birth to an 11.5-pound baby in my living room. Look, I thought that would get me on the show. That's pretty impressive. Who's done that? They never called. But the idea of freakish stamina took on a new meaning for me. And I would say that for the second time in my life, I was birthing something really big and really powerful and life-changing. Growth is a process of experimenting. You know, it's trial and error, it's success and it's failure, and then you mix it all together and you see that it's the whole of it that grows us. It is the experience of being in a process that we have some say in, but it's not something that anything or anyone can force us through. Your best edge of growth does not come from feeling any sense of force. And so, you know what I notice is that, do you ever notice that sometimes when you're about to do a task, you want to get as much information about it as you can before you start the task, right? So, you know, I mean, I guess the best example now is that we can YouTube just about anything. Garage door not opening? Watch a little video. Is plumbing weird in the bathroom? Check it out on YouTube. And so we like to collect data, but what I want to say is that that kind of education, in the same way that books and classes and workshops in the spiritual frame, in the same way that they will not make you wise, the wisdom comes from the inner process, from pushing ourselves through that edge of growth. As Yeats said, it is not about filling a pail, right? It's about finding that spark of light and following that spark of life. See, I'm glad I followed that spark, because that is eventually when I started having that call to ministry, it felt the same way. There was something in me that was bigger than I was that I had no control over. And that's how life is. I mean, it's an extreme story, I know, but, you know, I'm kind of extreme sometimes. It happens. Holmes said, "There can never come a time when we shall stop progressing." And I think that was the beauty of my obsession with that show. It was that I kept going, but why? Why do you want to do that? You know, it's not like I really want to be separated from my loved ones. It's not like I want to sleep on the sand and flea-infested beaches and all of that. It's not like I want that. But it was that I wanted that experience of growing. Now, I'm glad I didn't identify it as a call to ministry right away, because you know what I would have thought? I would have looked at God and went, "You can't make me." You know, it would be like God was saying, "You have to do this." God isn't like that. God does not hover over us and demand that we grow. We get to do this just the way that it works for us. And I think another way that we bump into a different kind of growth is when our loved ones are going through difficult times and we are tempted to help push them through their own growth. But we can't do that. You can never help somebody else grow. You can be there for them, and you can love them, and you can say things like, "No matter what, I'm here for you." But it's difficult to just do that. It's a heck of a lot easier to say, "Well, have you tried this, or have you thought about going there?" We sometimes do those things for the right, I don't think it's a right reason, but we do them for reasons that make sense to us. Like maybe we wish somebody would have guided us when we were young, you know, and maybe we would have made different decisions. Or maybe we We don't want our kids or our loved ones to suffer the way through some of the hardships that we lived through based on the decisions we made. But you know what? Yet we can't save anybody. So Ralph Waldo Emerson said something so powerful, and I want you to hear it. Be patient. Don't reject it when you hear me say it. Emerson said, "I rejoice in the discontent of others, for they are growing." So it's a different way of looking at it. I rejoice in the discontent of others, for they are growing. I've had this written on my whiteboard in my office for a few months now, because it's much easier to try and help you and lift you in some way. But love is so much deeper, you know, and it brings me to ask myself questions. Maybe you could consider these questions too. Can I really allow people around me to grow in the way they can bump into their lessons and not mine? Right? I don't know what their lessons are. Not even your children, we don't know. Not even your mom and dad, did they? We couldn't help them either. I tried. Right? We've all been there. Your experiences will be exactly unique to your own edge of growth, and that's why none of us have exactly the same experiences. Another question that went through my mind is, can I be there for the people that I love to just love them through those lessons? And what that means is, can you do that without criticizing, without reprimanding, without trying to fix it and make it better? You know, when my kids were little, it was really, you know, if Hugh and I were going to go out on a fun night on the town, I would buy. They never ate sugar unless we were going to go out, and I felt guilty, and I would buy them junk. Right? Then Mom gave them permission to eat junk food. So, yeah, we want to fix it. We want to make it look happy. We want to, you know, change it. And the last question that really went through my mind, because I think it really pertains to me, is it possible? Is it possible that when I support my loved ones through tough times, that is growing me too? Yeah, not them, not that how I show up with them. That's not what's growing me. It's the way I resist the temptation to help fix the problem, and that's a tough one. That's a tough one for all of us. And these are really good things to look at. You know who really stands over you and shouts at you, "Grow, damn it"? You do. We're the hardest on ourselves. It's so easy to go, "Why haven't you figured that out yet? You know, why are you so impatient about trying to do this or that?" We're so hard on ourselves. And then I've heard people go, "Yeah, but it's because I was criticized as a kid." And it's always, whose voice is it? It's my mom's voice. It's my dad's. It's that mean nun in catechism, you know, that's still picking on me, or that teacher in middle school. But it's not their voice. It's not. Their voice has not been in your life for a long, long, long time. And you are reenacting that. It's your own voice. So you don't have to grow, right? Life will grow you, and then you can grow consciously. And sometimes, yes, we can push ourselves through that edge of growth. So I have a beautiful Fred. Where's Fred? Oh, he's in the kitchen. Damn it. Somebody go get him. Somebody go get him. It is a damn it day. It's so nice to give myself permission to. So I found a quote that I wanted to end the message with today, but I have to wait till Fred comes in the room, because I couldn't help but think, Fred, I'm going to just end my talk right now. You can stay right there. You don't have to come all the way in, but I did this just for you, so I want to make sure you're there. I have a closing quote from Lana Turner. Well, you really liked the Peggy Lee talk. Okay, here's a quote from Lana Turner. Sometimes wise words come from surprising places. She was talking in an interview about how all of us want to be happy, and she said, the thing about happiness is that it doesn't help you grow. Only unhappiness helps you grow. So I'm grateful, she says, that my bed of roses had both blossoms and thorns. Thank you, Fred. And that's what I wanted to say today. All right, let's take it to prayer. Oh, so I'm just getting myself centered in this gorgeous space where we have spoken of many things. And I invite you just to take a deep cleansing breath. Beautiful, strong exhale. And we rest for a moment. We pause. We allow all the words that have been spoken this morning, from the prayers to the stories about remarkableness, to the music, and to the message. And we feel that there's wisdom moving through this room. I recognize that right where we are, God is. And I feel that presence of God within me, feeling it as the activity of life itself. Something quickens at the core of our being as we know yet again that only love is real. So breathe that in. Feel the love of God within you. And as we just embody the ideas of what love is, of what it is to imagine that force in the universe that insists on growth, that is indeed the first cause of all of life. And how blessed we are to study spiritual principles and know that we are created in the image and likeness of God, and therefore we too are creative beings. I feel the love of God within me. And I know it is the very motivation, it is the thing that sparkens the fire at the center of our being. It is what fans the flame. And it allows us to shine our light and to feel that motivation, that inspiration, that way we are uplifted to that higher way of seeing life, that Godward gaze that is the divine perspective. For when we stand in that truth, when we stand in joy and in perfect order and balance, when we recognize love and happiness and the connection of everything to the next thing, that is the posture that allows us to fill our minds and our souls with the goodness of life. Seeds are planted anew so that in this springtime mentality, we expect new growth. We expect little sprouts to come up through the dark earth and to begin to grow toward that divine light. And so we feel something magnificent enlivened within us. It is the very impulse of love itself. It is that divine light, that divine joy, that spark of truth that begins the healing process in our bodies. Every cell of our being is filled with that divine, the DNA of God, that intelligence that knows how to carry us forth. That we are held sweetly in those arms of God so that we can develop on this course and we can grow at our own speed and nothing forces us. We come willingly, for we stand in that essence of love. We stand in the truth of who we are. We recognize that we have been given gifts that are bigger than any good we have ever imagined, awaiting our discovery. So I say thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this reviewing of truths in our own lives so that we might heal, so that we might prosper, so that this spiritual community can prosper in the West Side. I just feel that overwhelming sense of gratitude in my being, and it is in that deep sense of thankfulness that I simply release the words of this prayer, knowing that it is already done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
Thank you, Bradfords.
So I don't know about you, but I would pay good money to see that video. I would pay good money. And if you give me the tape, I'll get it digitized. And we have a Survivor-themed fundraising event. Are you with me? Are you with me? Do you hate me now?
Grow, damn it.
I'd go in on that with you.
All right, so now is the time to celebrate the abundance of our lives and the abundance of our community, and remind you that we have dining with the dudes afterwards, so please join us for food. We are not passing around the offering plate because we know that our gifts are flowing. We have drop boxes in the back of the room as well as in the bookstore, and we appreciate all your gifts. You can also give online through the stewardship program, where it's automatically drafted from your credit card or your checking account. If you're interested in doing that, you can see me and I can help you set that up. And don't forget the fries. We're still focusing on the fries, growing the fries. So that's all for now. So let's say our giving affirmation together. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Please rise for our last song. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Sing that with me. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. I ain't thinking about my problems. I'm living now. I'm living now. And I ain't gonna worry about the future. I'm living now. I'm living now. So put your hands up if you feel like having a good time. Put your hands up if you're sharing love with all. Raise your cup if you're hopeful for tomorrow. Put your hands up if you're ready to have some fun. Now sing it. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Oh, 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 it feels so good to be alive. Woo!
All right. So let's say our closing affirmation together. I love my growth. Because I am life expressing. And so it is.
Yeah.